This is Mike from fearshop.com. Make sure you like this video and leave your comments. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to set up notifications so you know when the next video drops. Let's get into it. Thanks for checking out this Psycho deep dive. I want to take you on a journey into my thoughts on Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho from 1960. Psycho's a true classic with so many interesting aspects to the form and impeccable direction of the film. 60 years ago, Alfred Hitchcock taught the world to shriek. Psycho opened at 2 mid-Manhattan theaters with crowded already lined up on Broadway. The title was blunt. Hitchcock directed a first-person trailer that was hilarious. There were unprecedented print ads featuring the voluptuous Hollywood star Janet Leigh in a slip-and bra. The film was shrouded in secrecy with not a detail of the plot being spilled to the public. Based on a novel inspired by the case of the Wisconsin cannibal necrophiliac Ed Gein, Psycho not only relocated horror from faraway Transylvania to the heart of the American family, but was shockingly ironic from beginning to end. Audiences screamed in terror, passed out in their seats, and that was just the people who did not run for the doors. The mayhem caused one New York theater to call the cops and others to call for censorship. For a few weeks, Psycho upstaged the presidential campaign. A decade and a half before the Rocky Horror Picture Show, teenagers turned out into showings into rituals, returning with their friends again and again. Hitchcock deliberately wanted Psycho to look like a cheap exploitation film. He shot it not with his usual expensive feature crew, which had just finished North by Northwest, but with the crew he used for his television show. He filmed in black and white. Long passages contained no dialogue. His budget, $800,000, was cheap even by 1960 standards. Psycho was giving an R rating by the MPAA in 1984. Yes, a film released in 1960 is now rated R. The MPAA rating system was not created until 1968, but they do like to re-rate older films from time to time. Another little-known fact is that Psycho is the first American film to show a toilet on screen. It's also the first American film in which we hear a toilet being flushed. Paramount had cold feet with this project, which prompted Hitchcock to pay for the film himself and forego his director's fee. Hitchcock obviously got his money back and then some. Paramount not only dropped the ball in this one, the film does not even belong to Paramount as it's been a Universal title since 1968. Hitchcock paid $9,000 for the film rights to Robert Bloch's novel based on a positive review he saw in the New York Times. He also made the bid anonymously as so to keep the project under wraps for as long as possible. The film makes some significant changes from the book. Screenwriters make Marion Crane seem like the central character, as she is drastically different from the book as she is only featured in only 2 chapters in the book. The novel was published in 1959 and was loosely based on Ed Gein. Author Robert Bloch lived 40 miles away from Gein's farmhouse and liked the idea of somebody being able to kill people in a small community and get away with it for years without being caught. The character of Norman Bates was very different in the novel from the film version. In the novel, Bates is overweight, in his early 40s, and drinks heavily. When Joseph Stefano adapted the novel into a screenplay, he made the character of Norman Bates attractive and vulnerable. Psycho almost didn't happen. Hitchcock was planning a film called No Bail for the Judge with Audrey Hepburn, but that fell through, so he proceeded with Psycho. Anthony Perkins gives by far his best performance of his career in the title role. As the young, sensitive, and amiable proprietor of the hotel, he maintains an appearance of innocence, even while disposing of the remains of the murder victims purportedly killed by his mother. Janet Leigh is excellent as Marion Crane, the young woman who steals $40,000 to buy off her happiness and solve her boyfriend's money problems, only to be murdered at the hotel. John Gavin is her boyfriend, and Vera Miles is her devoted sister, both instrumental in solving the murders. Both also play very good roles. Martin Balsam is a private investigator, John McIntyre is a small-town sheriff, and Simon Oakland is a psychiatrist. Each role is played well and cast just as well. In the film's opening scene, Marion's wearing a white bra because she is still innocent. Once she's stolen the money, she's seen in a black bra to echo her dark turn. The master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, is well known for showing up in each of his movies, and Psycho is no exception. While a lot of people thought that Hitchcock did not make a cameo in Psycho, he is a gentleman standing outside the office building a little over 6 minutes into the film. The film starts in the first half innocently enough. As the film progresses, Marion Crane, played by Janet Leigh, steals $40,000 from her employer. Ultimately, she arrives at the Bates Motel and is killed in one of the most iconic death scenes ever filmed, as she is murdered in the shower of her room. There was actually a documentary about the shower scene, also known as the slashing in the shooting script. This masterful scene is cinema at its best, especially for 1960. This scene was a cinematic shock without precedent for its time. The film star, the secretary-turned-thief Marion Crane, played by Janet Leigh, is brutally murdered in the film's first half. The scene is so iconic that even if you've never seen Psycho, you've seen the shower scene many times. The silhouette behind the shower curtain, composer Bernard Herrmann's screeching violins, the unblinking eyeball in the bath, the blood spiraling down the drain. The scene has shortages of recreations, perhaps most recently being a shot-for-shot recreation on the Fox TV show Scream Queens. It features Jamie Lee Curtis, Lee's daughter, foiling her own bath time skewering. The 3-minute shower scene features 77 different camera angles and 50 cuts. It took 7 days to shoot. There's also a popular myth that Hitchcock did not actually direct that scene, but both Janet Leigh and assistant director Hilton Green have refuted this countless times. By the way, it's not the only scene in the film that's incredibly shocking. It is also one of the greatest horror movie endings of all time. Actually, it's one of the greatest movie endings of all time. Despite Hitchcock's continued attempts of keeping the project a secret, both Variety and The Hollywood Reporter published very thorough spoilers regarding Psycho that months before the film actually came out. The aforementioned media breach led Hitchcock to take even more extreme measures to guard the film's plot and ending. In addition to withholding the release of any stills from the movie's key scenes, Hitchcock refused to let screen critics see the film ahead of time, which may have accounted for some of the movie's less than stellar opening weekend reviews. The cast did not even know how the film would end either. Not only was Hitchcock intent on keeping the film under wraps until the last possible minute, he also instructed theaters to not allow anyone in once the film had started, and they did it. There were mentions of birds in Psycho which were intentional. Marion's last name is Crane. Norman Bates' hobby is stuffing birds. Norman even goes on to say that Marion eats like a bird. This was all intentional, as Hitchcock's next film was The Birds. While Psycho seems tame by today's standards, it was frightening and shocking for its time. I remember seeing Psycho for the first time as a kid, and it shook me. As I watched the film more times, I appreciated it more. Outside of the shocking ending, Hitchcock's direction is impeccable. The Psycho franchise went on to have some good entries and some less than stellar entries. Psycho 2 came out 23 years later and was a very fun film. As with the original Psycho, the film version was different than the book version. The book version had Norman escape the mental institution, where the film version had him released and accepting of his mother's death. In 1986, Psycho 3 was released. It was a television spin-off in 1987, and in 1990, Psycho 4: The Beginning was released. A remake to the original was released in 1998. While the remake was okay, it was nowhere near the quality film as the original. So that wraps this one up. I want to hear from you. Post your thoughts on this video and let me know how Psycho impacted your love for horror. That's it for this episode. Make sure you like this video, make sure you share this video, make sure you subscribe, but most of all, make sure you keep it horror.